Howdy gamers, it's your boy Dave here with the first story time of the year. Might seem a bit late, but I hope everyone had a good New Year's. Also, I want to take the time to thank you all for helping me reach 50 subscribers. I'm honestly pretty pumped about it, and honestly it means a lot to me. So again, thank you all so much, and remember to subscribe if you're not already to keep up with all my future story times. Anyway, getting on with things. The story I'm about to talk about today happened a few years ago, and it's probably one of my most memorable stories between my friends and I. Alright, let's get into it. My good friend, let's call him Cresty, was about to turn 19. And usually between my friend group and I, we always celebrate each other's birthdays. Little did everyone know Crusty's birthday was going to be like none other we've seen before. So a few weeks before Crusty's birthday, I got the boys together in a group call, and I was like, "Alright boys, what are we planning for Crusty's birthday, and what are we going to get him?" My friends basically told me that they were too busy at the time to plan something because both of them were swamped with college assignments. So that left us with two options. We either slapped Crusty with a big "no you" and crushed his poor soul, or your boy Big Dave had to step up to the plate. I saw this as an amazing opportunity to show and prove to everyone, and myself, that I was capable of planning stuff, which is probably one of my worst skills at the time, still kind of is. I didn't want to leave Krusty in the dust, so your boy Dave accepted the task and set out on his quest to plan the best birthday party that Krusty deserved. So keep in mind, I was also pretty busy with my own life, and at the time I basically lived in the middle of nowhere and didn't have a car or my driver's license to go pick up some stuff, but I was determined to complete my quest, and I wasn't planning on letting my friends down. So I did the one thing that I knew was possible. I raced to my computer and went on Amazon. I then realized that I forgot to ask the guys what kind of stuff my friend Cresty talked about that he wanted for his birthday, and that stuff that he didn't already have. So once again, I called up my friends and asked. They told me he likes collecting those Nintendo statue thingies called amiibos. They're basically like Funko Pops, but Nintendo characters. At least that's what they are to me, so don't judge. There was a Samus one that he didn't have, but it was one of the rare ones that not many people could get their hands on. They also told me that he'd probably also like to get some beer for his birthday since he enjoyed having a drink once in a while. So I thanked him for the information they supplied me with and I continued my quest. I called up Krusty a few hours later trying to casually bring up the topic of alcohol to figure out what kind of beer he liked to drink. Kind of did a really bad job at being secretive because Krusty knew it was pretty sus when I asked about beer since he knew I didn't drink. But anyway, I found out that he liked a beer called Moosehead. So later, I searched for the rare Samus amiibo that my friend wanted. I looked for about 10 minutes and I finally found what I was looking for. The price of the Samus amiibo was $50 and there were two left in stock. I ordered it, said it would arrive on the day before Krusty's birthday. Perfect. So I checked it off my list and tried to come up with an idea on how I was going to get the beer. Luckily, my mom was headed out to get groceries on the day I was meeting up with my friends for Krusty's birthday. I wasn't supposed to meet them until later in the day, so things were going all according to plan. I started to feel pretty pumped. Dave was finally going to prove to himself and the squad that he was capable of planning things. He was also going to be hailed a hero for coming in clutch for Krusty's birthday. Or so he thought.
Got him!
It was finally Krusty's birthday. The Samus amiibo I ordered came in a day late, which was supposed to come in the day before. I didn't have wrapping paper, so I decided I was going to try to get a birthday bag while I was up with my mom. My mom told me she got called into work and it was going to be a bit later in the day until we were able to get some groceries and quickly run to the beer store. By the time my mom got back, it was going on 5 p.m. and I guess the beer stores closed early that day, so I had to make a last resort decision. I lived a 10-minute drive away from a small town that normally would take 2.5 hours to walk, and in that town they had a small general store that sold alcohol. I was extremely pressed for time because I was supposed to meet my friends within the hour, so in my last-ditch effort to save my plan, we took a drive to the general store and took a look at their selection. So, another thing you guys should know if you didn't already know from either one of my previous story times or earlier in this story, but yeah, I don't drink. I've never touched a drop in my life, and I'm not the kind of person that likes to talk about it or go anywhere near it. So I looked around for the Moosehead, and I couldn't find any. Turns out the store either ran out of stock of my friend's favorite beer, or they just didn't supply it. I was pretty bummed out, so I tried looking for something else I figured that he'd like. Back then, I wasn't really educated on what brands were what for beer. So the store was going to close soon, and I was already pressed for time, so I just decided to pick up a bottle of Jack Daniels and call it a day. I picked out a bag for my friend's gift and the alcohol and headed out. I finally arrived at my friend's place and we all hung out for a bit. It was then time for my friend Krusty to open the gift bag. So far so good, I thought to myself. Dave had to use his big brain to dodge a few obstacles and adapt, but he overcome them and his quest was complete. So you think the story ends there and everything is all fine and dandy, but remember, this is a Dave story. Krusty opened the bag and what was first thought to be a look of excitement slowly ended up turning into a look of sadness, disappointment, and confusion. We then decided to ask what was wrong. Krusty looked up at me and face-palmed. I immediately felt confused. I started to think about what could have gone wrong. Krusty then explained that the Samus amiibo that I picked out was not only the wrong one, but the writing on the packaging was in Japanese. Also, the alcohol I picked out was whiskey. Krusty hates Jack Daniels. I later found out that the reason why the Samus Amiibo's packaging was in Japanese was because it was a Japanese import. That was also the reason why it was so expensive. It was all starting to make sense. I found out through my friends that Nintendo sold them on their website for $15. So I basically not only ended up getting it from the wrong website, but I also ended up paying $50 for a $15 import. And also, to add insult to injury, the $15 price tag was still on the box. Ouch. Everyone started laughing and we all started to joke about it. I joked around, but deep down, I was slowly dying inside. The good news is that my friend's mom was a fan of Jack Daniels, so Krusty was able to trade her for some Bud Light. And also, because my friend Scott bought the amiibo off me for $25 since Krusty already had that one, and it was already going to be a hassle to ship it back. Later that night, the boys set out for Krabby Joe's. We joked a bit more about my little mess up, and we had a great time. Still wanted to die inside it, and honestly, to this day, it still cripples me. But the way I look at it, things may have gone wrong, but at the end of the day, I promised and I delivered. I count that as a win. From that moment onward, Dave was never left in charge of birthdays again, and he learned two things that day. Always do your research before buying stuff off the internet to avoid overpaying for a Japanese import, and that Jack Daniels isn't beer. So that's basically going to wrap up this story time. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like what you heard today and want more of my amazing stories, please make sure to punch that like button. While you're at it, give that good old subscribe button a huge slap as well. Hope you all have an amazing day, and remember, don't let your memes be dreams. See you later.